previously on Gearz.
It's great to welcome a Durban-born, American-based MX rider, Grant Langston.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, besides being jet lagged, I can't complain.
Nothing wrong. How long have you been in the States now?
I've been out of the country since I was 15, which was in 1997. I lived 3 years in Europe and now 13 years in the States.
Wow, there we go.
So I've got this kind of a mutt accent, apparently.
Sounds great.
Because no matter where I go, everyone says, "Where are you from?"
Now, let's just take us back a little bit. Your passion has always been in MX, motocross. So once you sort of achieved what you achieved in South Africa, even though you were young, what inspired you to go to Europe?
I think since I started riding, I always told everyone, on the podium, when you're a little kid, and they're like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I want to be a world champion." So since I was a kid, I had the drive, and unfortunately, motocross is not quite big enough in South Africa to really make a career out of it. And obviously, to be the best in the world, you got to go and take on the world. So that was it. Just went via Europe. That was my way in. And after that, obviously, once you make a name in Europe, the money's in the States. And I love the weather. And I think as a South African, it's so easy to fit in there. So
well, you live in California, don't you? Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
outside,
very jealous. You're very brown.
Yeah. Well, we came from out summer, so
Yeah.
I mean, we've actually been having days by my house close to 40 degrees. So,
Whoa.
yeah,
Okay.
well, over there close to 115
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When is the American going to go to the metric?
I don't
Can
know.
you
It
not
drives
just-
me nuts because
Can't you just get it sorted
you go
out?
and order a beer and they go, "Do you want a 16 ounce or a?" I'm like, "Just give me the big one, please. I'm South African. Give me the big one."
Well, there we go. I mean, what ounces and feet?
It drives me nuts.
No, listen,
I
it drives all of us
I
nuts.
still have no idea.
Okay.
I still use hand signals to show them roughly what
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
Well, it must be pretty difficult working on a bike, and they're going, "Well, you got a 2.4 or a 3.8 inch or something."
Oh yeah, but what's crazy is all the mechanics use regular
Metric.
system. Yeah,
Yeah.
they all
See.
use millimeters.
There we go.
And even they agree. They say this is, we hate it. They don't. A lot of them don't know what a 3/8 really is equivalent to. But they know what a 12 mil is or a 10 mil.
See, I would be okay there. Grant, let's take
Yeah.
you back. I mean, you were 125 world champion back in 2000.
2000, correct.
2000. Was that a Europe?
Yes.
European? Was that just a European championship, or was that a world championship?
Well, you know what? It's a good question you ask, because sometimes people don't really understand. But in motocross, the world championship, in my opinion, is pretty much the world minus America.
Yes.
But then what happens is most of the world champions get offered a lot of money to go to the States. So in our sport, theoretically, there's more credibility of being a U.S. national champion than a world champion, because you're racing against other world champions and the best
the
America
Americans.
has to offer. So I guess in a nutshell, being, my U.S. national 450 title in 07 was probably the biggest one of all.
Okay.
And,
Because you won also in 125s in America as
correct.
well.
Yeah, I went 2000 world champion, and then 2001 I had a heartbreak with a mechanical at the last round.
Oh, no.
And then 03 I came back, won that, and then won 2 Supercross championships in 05 and 06, and then ended off in 2007 winning the outdoor 450 title, because it went from 2 strokes to 4 strokes. So there's no more 125s. It's they would call it the motocross lights, or most people call it 250s now, and 450s. So, and then unfortunately after that I got diagnosed with melanoma cancer, and kind of came to an abrupt halt at the peak of my career.
All right. And now this is what is all about. I mean, that must have been devastating.
It was. At the time it seemed like my whole world came to an end.
But I mean, having achieved so much and having the sort of strength of conviction, knowing what it's like to suffer in terms of motocross,
Sure.
And knowing how much hard work it must take to eventually overcome
Absolutely.
hurdles, that must have also at least sort of helped you a little bit in terms of preparing yourself and understanding what you would have to go through to sort of overcome all of this.
Well, exactly. One of the biggest things was that at the time it just seemed, you think, why me? And, it's a lot of things go through your mind. And the hardest part, I think, was motocross was not just a job, it was my life.
Yeah.
I tell people it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. It's 24/7, 365. So when you take that one thing away, and I remember waking up and I felt like, I said to myself, if I get out of bed today, it doesn't matter. And when I answered no, it was a really horrible feeling to deal with. But then of course when they mention the word cancer, you kind of rethink your thought, where it's not hey, when can I ride again? And he's saying, this could be a life and death situation. We need to hit this head on. It changed my thought process, but I look back and I believe everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't see it at the time, but I think you got to take. There's always a positive out of everything. I have my health. We have a family business. I made good money from racing. I had a great career, and I'm still able to ride. My vision is just not that good because I actually had a tumor develop in the eye. It's very, very rare. But like they said, if we don't do surgery and radiation treatment, it'll spread, and when it does spread, it goes to your brain. You'll be done. You'll be
tickets.
Yeah, you'll be 6 feet under.
When you were first diagnosed, did they come to you and say, listen, you've got this melanoma cancer, and unfortunately doctors, I suppose, sometimes have to be incredibly realistic and truthful and sit there and say, listen, you've got 6 months or you got
pretty
2
much
years.
Yeah. It didn't happen quite like that because it took a while to really figure out what it was. I went from just an eye doctor to an ophthalmologist to a retina specialist, and eventually I ended up at the Cleveland Clinic at the Eye Cancer Center when someone said, this is spreading, it's starting to grow rapidly, it looks like cancer. And when I went there, they said, we need to take care of this immediately. So, definitely changed the thought process. And I tried racing afterwards, but I learned the hard way. Having decent vision doesn't cut it in that sport when you're pushing 110% all the time.
Exactly.
So, once I got over the fact that, hey, my career's done, but I can still enjoy life and live and hopefully be healthy and ride, because I still ride it. It's my passion.
Sure, of
I
course.
hate the gym. I had to train my whole life. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to be a fat slob, but I don't want to go to the gym. So for me, riding is my cardio, strength, stress reliever, all of the above. And so for me now, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's brilliant. So now this brings us, you back here in South Africa. You part of Monster, who I assume are your international sponsors as well, or are they just in a local capacity?
Monster's always been a good company to me. In fact, when they came into motocross in the States, they sponsored the team that I just signed with, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. So I've had a great relationship with them from day one. And, even to this day, I just went up to Laguna Seca for MotoGP and go up with those guys and get a rub shoulders with Rossi and Lorenzo and all the guys. And
tough life.
So they've, I know a lot of people are envious of what I've been able to see and do and over the years. And, I obviously never take that for granted. But Monster's been great. They brought me out. I said, hey, let's. I say I don't race anymore, but I'm going to race the All African Championship this weekend. And I remember when I was a kid, Greg Albertine was my hero.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got to see him ride in person and meet him, and it really just changed things. He became my idol from there on out. And I thought there's a lot of kids that know of me and watch me on TV, but they've never physically seen me or see me ride. So I thought, this is a great opportunity to come and, give something back. I've always been so busy and never really had the opportunity to do something like this, but now that I have the freedom to do that, it's something I've wanted to do.
I mean, listen, I think it's terrific that you're coming. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of youngsters who are going to be very, very excited to meet you as well, because of, 7 championships, but as you say, maybe only watched you on television.
Absolutely.
And then sat and went, oh, but he's actually one of us.
Yeah, he's a normal
way.
guy. It's kind of crazy. I get so many random questions, like, does McGrath actually talk to you? I said, yeah, we were teammates, Yeah, he really does, everyone puts their pants on the same way. And I think, but I understand how it is. It's like meeting a movie star or someone, you've always watched them, so you kind of do. You put people on this pedestal. But I had to laugh one day. Someone that I looked up to one day said, usually the worst thing you can do is meet your hero, because you've put them on this pedestal, you think they're perfect, and then you realize, yeah, he's got issues just like the rest of us.
It's just a normal
That
guy.
happened to me when I met Sasha. Jokes.
There we go. That's so nice. Well, that's the end of Daisy. Listen, if you're just tuning into Gearz Balls Visual Radio, we are chatting to multiple world and American champion Grant Langston, who's back in South Africa. We're going to get more details about why he's here. In-studio guest this afternoon. What a privilege to have him here. He's loving the weather. He doesn't know what the weekend's going to bring him, though. But he'll be dressed up nice and warm. Of course, he's multiple US and European world champion Grant Langston in the form of motocross. That's the way I still call it, motocross. Is that the right way?
Yeah. Most people, I think, call it that. Some people say MX just for short. I think nowadays everyone's a little bit lazy. I would text MX. I wouldn't spell the whole thing out. So maybe that's kind of where it comes from.
Maybe it's all the short way of riding. So now you're here to have a little bit of fun. You got the this weekend. And I was just talking off air. I was driving here and sitting and thinking of things. Well, I know you've been out of the country for quite a while, but maybe there's some of the circuits that you or tracks that you did ride. And this weekend, everything's taking place at the original Syringa Spa.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because the guys I looked up to raced there, and I got the opportunity, I think once or twice, right when I was just a little pipsqueak on 80 cc's, to go there. So it is a bit of a distant memory. I've had a lot of concussions, so but it is neat to be able to go back to. It's not often tracks in South Africa have a great history.
Yes,
because unfortunately it seems like they come and go.
Well, this is it. I mean, that's all I wanted to ask you. I mean, because I grew up and I used to have a mate of mine who used to do motocross, and I used to go and watch him at Syringa and Back of the Moon and the original Brickor and those kind of places. So I'm so glad that this name Syringa has come up again.
It's cool.
I mean, I'm actually quite excited about it.
Yeah. People. When I came along, we called it Cora Brick, but all the guys I know that were older than me talked about Brickor. And I never went to Back of the Moon, but actually my dad raced there.
Is that so?
In the, I think the late 70s or the early 80s, somewhere right when I was born, and then my mother told him, enough's enough.
Let the kid take over.
Yeah. Well, no, she didn't want me to race. She hated it.
I can well imagine.
My dad would go to the track and ditch my mother instead of going out on a date. He would take his bike and go to the race. So when I was born, my mother actually said he can do anything but race motocross. And that worked out really well.
I was just about to say, that really worked out well. I'm sure your mom now, I'm sure in a way, incredibly proud of you. Unbelievably, just very, very proud. But possibly also in a way going, thank goodness he's not doing it anymore.
Well, I think she got to that point where I think she realized, if you can't beat them, join them type thing.
Okay.
And so she became a supporter, just in the background. She wasn't one of those that screamed and shouted on the side of the track. But the nice thing, even in the States, I got my parents and my sister that run the motorcycle dealership that we have, Langston Motorsports. I got family and friends over here. We have an import and distribution company called Langston Motorsports.
Okay.
And
where's that based? Here in Joburg?
Yeah, our building is in Midrand.
Okay.
And so we don't retail. We supply all the big stores and shops, so we sell a lot of different product. So it's also, coming out here, it's so many reasons for me. I mean, obviously, I love South Africa. I'll always be South African, even though I live over there. Every time I come, I enjoy it. People say, oh, do you miss it? I say, well, yeah, that's why I come back. But when I come back, it's so much fun because you don't see everyone that often. So when you come back, I've got friends and family, and they take time off work, and we just have a good time and a lack of joy. But, going back, I've been away for so long that California's home for me now.
Exactly, that is your home.
I'm married with kids, and my wife's American, and, my sister's actually, we were talking about this last night, she's married to Ryan Dungey's older brother. Because someone said, wait, I saw an email, it's Whitney Dungey. What the heck's that about? So, we're just tired in racing in so many ways, but fortunately, it's never gotten old. It's never gotten bored. I've never ever thought, I just want to walk away and never ride or never see a bike again. I've thought that once or twice, and then 2 weeks later, I go and grab my bike.
If it's in your blood, it's in your blood.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think anyone that is into cars and bikes and that, they just get it, we never grow out of it. We're like overgrown children.
Totally. So now, I mean, also it gives you the opportunity to go and see, I mean, even though you're sort of a distributor and wholesaler on this side, it allows you to go and see some of the dealers that you supply to,
Absolutely.
Also, for them, they must probably have hardly met you or whatever, and now they know exactly where it's coming from.
Well, the nice thing too is, comes back to it just makes things more real. That you meet the people, they've got the jersey signed on the wall, and, and then it's like, hey, next time you come back, you better call me because, I'm taking you out. We're going to go have a jaw. And so most of the problem, actually, it's a good problem, I guess, but I only have a few weeks here, and there's more things and people to see and do than there is time. But we make the most of it. Sometimes I get on that plane flying back, and I think, shoot, I need a vacation after that vacation.
Exactly.
Because it gets, we just go nonstop. But wouldn't regret it at all.
That's for sure. So you're going to take part this weekend,
Yes.
And then next weekend you've got something else that's coming up.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it happened, but I think Garen at Monster volunteered my entry for a best whip contest. So it's off a metal ramp. I've never had a metal ramp in my life.
So there we go. Thanks for that.
There's a first for everything, I guess. So I mean, it'll be pretty cool. They're going to have freestylers and motocrossers, and it's kind of an opportunity to kind of for the same guys to be on the track at the same time. I saw some, tweets and things like that where guys were like, oh, I'm so pumped to be whipping it with one of my idols. And it's cool. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I just don't land upside down.
Well, I mean, because motocross and eventually, motocross is the art of actually racing and doing it, and then you get the freestyle guys who are bonkers.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you sit there, when you were really at your prime before everything went unfortunately a little bit wrong. I mean, when you hitting those jumps and you're going crossover side, I remember watching Rex Staten, a guy, and this guy used to, like, he was horizontal, when this is crazy.
Well, that's where these kind of best whip contests come from.
Yeah.
That's something that's just never gotten old in our sport. People still appreciate, even in freestyle, we get to go ride with some of the, top guys, Jeremy Stenberg, Twitch and Josh Hansen, then we were riding at the hills and, they still go sometimes, wow, I love a moto style whip. It's just something about it. Just doesn't get old. So, that's almost becoming a sport on its own.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are doing the backflip.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's
like mental.
Yeah, you got to have a screw loose for that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully not going to be doing any of those. Just get it nice and sideways.
I mean, I've done a back flop, but that wasn't on purpose.
Listen, Grant has very kindly brought us in his racing suit.
Yeah, a set of gear that I just brought with me
There we
from
go.
overseas. That's actually one of the products we distribute, Alpine Stars.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, man. We got to talk. Oh, look at that. With his name on the
Yes,
back.
I know some people.
You know some people. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, so there we go. We got that and the pants, of course, and you can see
They've been used.
Well used.
Got a little bit of man juice in there.
There
Don't
we
worry, I
go.
washed them.
Don't worry, guys. Did you get that one, Daisy?
Oh, stop it.
All right, so we're going to figure out a way. We're going to get you, if you don't mind, to sign it.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to run it, I think, over a few days. We're not going to give it away immediately because I think this is something very, very special. So I think we've got to find the right person who's going to win this or manage to take this away. Plus, we'll give them a case of Monster energy drink. There's new flavors that have come out as well. So
Yeah, there's a lot of good flavors now.
which is very, very cool. So we'll
Going
do
into
that.
Monsters, like, it's like a buffet of drinks there now.
Yeah, very cool. So that's what we're going to do, and Grant has promised he's going to get us a race suit as well that we're going to put in our new studios.
Absolutely.
which will be stunning.
Well, it'd be nice to join the Wall of Fame. I know you've had some heavy hitters come
Definitely.
through here,
Well,
so it's an honor to be here. Appreciate it.
You're going to hit the Wall of Fame with us. It's great to have you back in South Africa, and I'm sure you're going to be really, really surprised by the reception you're going to receive from everybody over this weekend and next weekend when you go racing.
Oh, I'm sure. Actually, if we've got a quick second, in 2006, I actually was dealing with a broken ankle, so I wasn't racing, and my grandmother had a stroke, so I came out, and coincidentally, they had the GP at Sun City.
Okay, yeah.
And I hadn't been here in a while or to a race or something, and it was a pleasant surprise when I got mobbed when I came in by the kids. So a lot of the race, to be honest, I don't really care to race anymore. I just like riding. But something like this weekend, I figured I'm not getting any younger, and I hope that there will be a good turnout, and a lot of those kids that are, will get something out of it, and be able to shake hands and hang out and have a few dopes afterwards, and just enjoy it.
I think it's going to be something very, very special. If you are in and around Gauteng, get to Syringa. I hate to tell you, but it is going to be a bit cold Saturday, Sunday, so get nice and warmly dressed and come out and see one of the greats of South African motocross back in South Africa. It's not often you get the opportunity. So, Grant, thanks very much for coming through. We know you missed your flight the other day, but I'm glad that we managed to get you in here.
Yeah, a little jet lagged, but otherwise I'm good.
No, that's great. So thanks very much for coming through. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
There we go. Grant Langston in studio. We've got this magnificent, his own kit to give away a little bit later, but we'll do it over a couple of days. I think we've got to work out how we're going to do it. Daisy will come up with some brilliant concept. I know she will.
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Gearz with Sasha Martinengo on bulls.co.za.